Howdy folks, this is the Big Daddy who likes to make drawing videos, and this is another one of my drawing videos, and welcome back to my virtual drawing classes. Sketchbook time again. Once again, for those of you who are new, I'm using Storyboard Pro to draw in. As I mentioned, or have mentioned in the past, there are lots of programs that you can do your drawings in. I think if you're starting out a drawing, obviously I'd say just get yourself a sketchbook and some pencils. I don't think it's necessary for you to have a drawing program. And the way I will talk about drawing in the class here or in this tutorial is to show you uh, techniques that all artists use to some greater or lesser degree. And for those of you who are just starting out, this is here to really help anybody who's an artist who's getting started. Some basic things that you just want to have them in your head and learn. When you're drawing anything, of course, you have to really study your subject and look at the things that make your subject unique from other things. So there's a lot of things that can be said about drawing. We can't cover them all in one class. It's a continuous thing. Over time, you learn various things from different people, and you work in. If you, as an artist, if you work with other artists, you're going to pick things up from them. All of it is a part of how your life develops as an artist, and it's something that's unique and different for every person. So anyway, when you start out drawing anything, you want to start with shapes. And when you're drawing with shapes, if you're making, and I'm just going to do just a sketch here, but and I'm just going to talk about this as I'm doing it. As an artist, when you're drawing with shapes, you're trying different things to make a character. If you're doing a cartoon character, and you're adding forms and things that eventually will start to look like a character, or you're starting to go in the direction of drawing a character or drawing a personality or whatever. And of course, the ability that you have as an artist to capture and to create a certain level of believability is something that you develop over time. Every artist, when you see an artist drawing, and you're going like, wow, I wonder how they're doing that. They're doing that because the way that they're doing it is over time they have learned, picked up certain skills that they can then implement when they're drawing and use them to create the drawing that they're making. And a lot of what artists do is kind of already ingrained in their minds. We know things. We understand certain things. We've made certain mistakes in our perceptions of things, and over time, we start to understand what it is that we've been seeing and doing wrong, and we then are able to make changes to get what we want artistically to work a certain way. And that's just a process that requires time. There's no shortcut to it. But it doesn't necessarily either mean that it could take some new person some extremely long time to learn it. Your ability to learn and develop is a unique thing. Everybody's going to do it a little differently. So don't be discouraged because maybe there's just stuff you just say, well, I don't know this yet, so will I ever learn it? Well, yeah. It's just like anything else in life. You stay with something, and eventually you're going to pick up on how it's done. And the one beauty of being an artist is that you have your own unique way of doing things, and that's good. You don't need to do something exactly the way someone else does it. I've had to learn that over the years myself the hard way because there's some artists that I've admired who I've always felt like, wow, I don't know how they could do what they did so seemingly effortlessly. But I realized over time that obviously there was a discipline that came with that. Now that some of it might have been just sheer talent, which in a lot of cases that is the case. The artist himself might not even be able to explain why they can do what they can do so well or so easily. But for the most part, I think a lot of the best artists that I've met and worked with have developed disciplines over time where there was a lot of trial and error, and then they eventually got to a place where they developed a certain level of proficiency, competency, whatever you want to call it, where they were able to do certain things a lot easier as time went on. And I think that you'll find the same thing will hold true for you. That as time goes on, there's going to be things you're going to get better at. And, you know, so the important thing is to not get discouraged if you're not where some other person is artistically. And, it's fine. I think it is good to be inspired by artists who are better than you. And there's always going to be artists better than you. Your whole life, you're going to learn that there's always going to be somebody out there that can draw better than you. There's going to be people who are going to be just amazingly good out of the gate. Young people who just come out, like they pop out and they just have automatic talents and skills. That's great, and that's neither here nor there. The important thing is to enjoy the gift you have, whatever that is, and just enjoy that and run with it. Everybody can contribute something, and this is the beauty, I think, today of social media is that what you have is unique. Everybody has something completely unique. That's always been the case. And so share what you have and do what you like to do, create what you like to create. Um, but it's good to find out things. And this is the beauty of, once again, of social media is that we can share. I'm happy that I can share some of the things that I've learned. Now, like I just did this quick little drawing here, but what I want to do is talk about a process. Now, what I did here in making this drawing was that I started out, as you can see, with some shapes. Okay. Well, I understand now when I start drawing a character, I already kind of in my head can sort of see a few steps ahead as to where I'm going to go with this character. Okay. But if we're talking about shapes, let's talk about what we would consider to be starting points. So let's say we're going to start and we're going to draw some type of a cartoon character. So let's say we start just with a circle. Okay, just a circle. And when you draw a circle, just draw. You don't worry about it being pretty. it's just a circle. Okay. The circle represents a ball, sphere. And the reason why I said represents that, because in your mind, you want that circle to be a ball. Why do you want it to be a ball? You want it to be a ball because a ball is three-dimensional, right? A ball isn't a circle, though. If you draw a circle, it looks like a ball, right? Exactly. We think of a ball as having, like if we were to do this, and we put some shading on the ball, right, like that. And we put a shadow on the ground like that. We say, oh, it's a ball, it's got shading, right? Exactly. We think of it as a ball or as a sphere. Now, why did I bring that up? I brought that up because the idea is, as an artist, you have to tell yourself things about the the drawing you're making as you're making it, because what that does is that helps you to start to imagine this thing in 3 dimensions. What makes it jump off the page? What makes it jump off the page is your ability to see these flat lines on paper as though they were 3 dimensional objects, right? That's what you want to do. You need to be able to envision the thing as a 3 dimensional object. So when I just drew this circle, what I'm going to do ultimately, or at some point, is I'm going to imagine it as a 3 dimensional object. Now, right now, we're not going to worry about that. Right now, what we're going to do is just deal with the lines and the shapes on the page, okay? And wherever we may need to project, we'll start talking about that projection a little bit. But right now, we're just going to talk about lines on the paper. All right, so we got this circle, all right? So what we want to do is we're going to put a face on this circle, right, on this circle character. So let's start out with just a simple way to divide this up. So we'll use lines on the circle to show where the eye is going to go and where's the nose going to go. So let's draw a line. We'll just start out very simply. Let's draw a line across the middle of the circle. And we'll call this the line that the eyes are going to go on. Okay. Then we'll divide the circle up again from the top down vertically. And we'll call this the nose line. So the nose is going to go on. And I'll show you what I mean. So we'll come over here and we'll draw an eye, just the outline of the eye here and here. And then we'll say the nose can go here. And then right underneath the nose will be the mouth. We'll just draw a line for the mouth. Okay, so now what have we just done? We have just drawn a diagram for a cartoon. Okay, we haven't got the cartoon done yet, but we've got a diagram to indicate that that's what the cartoon is going to be, or that's the overall thing. Now, so as the creator, we can move things around, based on how we would want to create the character. So, for instance, I can erase the eyes and put them in different places. So let's say I put the eyes closer to the nose line, like that. So now you got these really close eyes. So by doing that, you got a different kind of character, don't you? And now we're just dealing with just the shapes, or we're not dealing with any details yet. We could put the eyes really close to the side of the head. Like that. We got something completely different, right? We haven't drawn any details yet, but just by doing this and moving the shapes around, we're starting to see that we can have different types of characters. Or what if we made the eyes really big? Maybe made them like this. Maybe they're egg shapes. See? So you see how all these different things are going to affect how your cartoon's going to look, right? Okay. So, there you go. All right, so now let's say we think about, okay, well, we see what we got our nose doing. And we could move our nose around too. So we could do that on the nose. We could move the nose up higher. Maybe it's right in the center here, right? Or I have to put the lines back every time I erase them out. I could move the nose down lower. Maybe it's way down here, right? And the nose doesn't necessarily even have to be round, does it? I mean, it could be a square shape, couldn't it? You know, could be like a rectangle. But it represents where the nose is going to go, right? Right. So you see what I mean? In other words, the nose can, these shapes start to determine things about the character. So what we'll do is I'll make the nose be maybe a little block shape here, like that. Doesn't have to. It could be whatever I want it to be. All right. Now the mouth is, just straight line across, but maybe I want to do something with the mouth here. Maybe I want to have the character smile, so maybe I'll draw an open mouth, smile like this. Right? Maybe it's even got little lines on the side. That's interesting, right? And once again, these are just shapes. These are just shapes on a page. We haven't done any details yet. But now that we got this going, now let's take that into account. So let's say with the eyes, let's put some pupils in the eyes here. So we'll draw some pupils in the eyes so that we give the eye some direction. All right. And then with the mouth, maybe we draw a line in here. And maybe we'll color this in a little bit so that the mouth is open. Maybe the top part there is like teeth. And maybe we put a little bottom line underneath that so it's like a bottom lip. Now we might have to erase some lines out so that we can see stuff a little better. So we can maybe take some of these lines out just so that we can get a better sense of some of the detail that we've drawn in here. Right? I left the boxy nose. But just taking out some of those lines, you see you're starting to get a face, right? So what else can we do? Well, we could shade the eyes in. Maybe we can draw in the eyes and maybe make them darker, but we'll put a little highlight in the eye. We can imagine light overhead hitting the eye, and it's going to make a little light spot in the eye like that. All right. The nose, well, it's kind of a boxy nose. Well, what if we were to take the top of that box off like that and just draw the bottom part? The nose has a little, it's got a couple of sides, right? Cheeks are here. Interesting. We're starting to see a face develop, right? With the eyes, we can put some little bumps on the eyes. This represents a fold in the flesh here, where the eye kind of sinks into the head a little bit. And as I talk up in the future more about creating depth, I'll talk about how this works, because from the front we can break it down and just look at it from the standpoint of it being lines, but we can start to imagine dimension. Okay, so now we got this much. Well, what's next? Well, how about some ears? Well, let's I tell you what, let's move this head down a little bit so we have a little more space. Okay. And we'll draw an ear over here. Now, I know the way I'm drawing this, I'm not explaining the dimension and how I'm doing it, okay? When you draw an ear, for those of you who don't understand perspective or foreshortening or anything, you're probably going to draw something that looks like this. like your ear. It's like it's got a little line in the inside, something like that. That's probably what you're going to draw, and that's fine. So I say do that. Draw what's comfortable to you, okay? If you don't, because I knew when I first started to draw the ear here, I drew it in a dimensional way, and I'm gonna not do that because I want you to the way that you're seeing things in dimension. You're not. Some of you are just not seeing that yet. That's not, and that's fine. You know, foreshortening in perspective is a little more involved, and we'll talk about that as time goes by. The important thing now is for you to learn basics. So, like when you see an ear, if you look at your sister's ear, your brother's ear, you know, kind of try to draw what you're seeing, or look in the mirror, right? All right, so you got that. You got a face. Okay, now above the eye, you would have what, like eyebrow, wouldn't you? So if you put a little eyebrow shape here, so you know he's got a happy face, so you want to keep him happy, right? Now, he's got to have hair, right? So, well, you could part his hair in the middle and have some hair going off to the side. So you could just draw some wavy lines that go off each direction from the center of the head out like this. And maybe it meets in the middle like that. Because the idea here is I just want to give you sort of a starting point. Because there's so many things that you have to do as an artist, drawing, learning. This is a process. It's something that you're going to be working on it continuously. So it's not something that you're just going to get it like this. It's a process of time that you'll get to a point where you'll get more proficient and you'll understand it better. But there you go. So you've got a face. And this is the beginning of your understanding of drawing cartoons or drawing anything really, because all things that you draw are going to be derived from shapes. And the better you understand the shape you're drawing, the more convincingly you can draw that shape. And this is what we'll talk about as time goes by. All right, well, there's your first lesson, drawing the faces, drawing a cartoon. Simple drawing. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got something out of it. I will see you on the next iteration. Please give me a like and subscribe to my channel. I certainly appreciate that. Very helpful to me and helpful, hopefully, to you. Leave a message in the comments if you like, or even question. I will try to get to my comments. I don't just know that I would always get to every single comment, but I certainly would be interested in hearing a question or whatever. Well, have a beautiful day. God is good. He gives us great gifts, and everybody's got something different. Enjoy your day, and remember, Jesus is Lord.